Now, the card on the bottom of the deck, we see the Six of Stones, which is exploitation. You'll see the bee image on here. So you may be feeling that you're taken advantage of in some way by someone. So we'll see kind of how that plays out here. Stones is the sign of earth. These are honeybees in here. But it's that idea of work, and someone taking advantage of you in that. Okay. We see here first card, the Queen of Arrows. Arrows is the suit of air. So this is possibly for you going to tie into Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I do want to remind people this is a general reading, so please take it as it applies. Typically, deer is very loving, gentle, kind energy. The antenna have to do with receiving downloads from source energy, intuition, but also logic and intelligence, and a nice, calm family type energy. We'll see how, if in some kind of way that exploitation plays out, excuse me, in your reading here, what that type of energy is. With the moon, we can see illusion, deception. It could be cycles or phases. This is a primordial egg, meaning that there's raw potential that can be coming into play here. And this can be tied in with female fertility. Now, our next card, if I take these in groups of three, it looks like the possibility of some sort of deception, some sort of a thought egg, maybe an illusion of something, resulting in some sort of heartache, third-party situation, jealousy, and so on, with this Three of Arrows here. Now, how that plays out in your personal situation, take that as it resonates. Now, the card at the centerpiece here we see is the insecurity card. Insecurity is mental. It's thought. The Three of Arrows, jealousy, is also about thought, thinking. Whether this is grounded in reality or not, whether it is not, I do come back to this exploitation card. For some of you, it could be very, very real, that there's something to feel jealous about or to feel some heartburn about. This insecurity could be mental. What I mean by that is that I don't mean to say that you're mental, okay, clearly. What I do mean in this is that sometimes how we read the evidence could be, even if there's no evidence, but how we talk to ourselves about a situation can make it better or worse depending on how we talk ourselves through something. There's a biofeedback loop that can occur. Like if we start to feel low-level arousal over a stimulus, like say I'm feeling mildly nervous, maybe about going to the doctor or the dentist or what have you. And then I tell myself, oh, it's going to be awful. They're going to find a tumor. They're going to have to pull all my teeth out. I can very quickly make my low-level anxious arousal become a full-blown panic attack by how I think about things. Be very, very careful that you don't give into ungrounded thoughts, but that you seek evidence before you begin to think that something may be wrong in your relationship or situation. Now, we see also here the Knight of Wands. Wands is fire energy, right? And fire energy, this could be possibly Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. So you may be thinking that your air sign is falling in love with or having an affair with a fire sign like an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. And that could be creating some upset for you. I don't know a whole lot of people that are truly comfortable with polygamy. I don't think that this jealousy card would be out here if you were comfortable with it, let's just say. And sometimes the fox could be about, what somebody's getting away with. If this is not a romantic situation for you, and it's possible that it's not, because arrows being air, that's intellect, wands being passion, but that can also be the workplace and how we manifest our passions in the workplace. Not even in the sense of an affair, but like a lot of times people feel really, really a great sense of purpose in what they do as far as a work situation. But when we tie in the exploitation piece of that, it could be that there's some sort of somebody's trying to get away with something at work. They're trying to play on your kindness or your sense of fairness or just wanting to get a good job done. Kind of like, anytime they tie us up into groups at work, work teams and so on, there's usually somebody that does, 90% of the work. Other people, it's usually the control freak does most of it. And other people are ideas people and they get frustrated. And so they just stop working. And then, of course, there's usually a lazy person on the team who couldn't care less and they just want to take a smoke or a coffee break. It's just kind of group dynamics 101. I mean, that kind of stuff happens at work. But with this, it could be the case. Now, what I am seeing down here, too, for some of you, again, not for all, please don't do anything based on a general reading like this when I haven't even talked to you one-to-one about it. This tells me that for some of you, your intuition's right. You're being exploited. You're being taken advantage of. Your Queen of Arrows and your Knight of Wands are hooking up. Or someone's stealing the eggs from the hen house, whatever it is, behind the scenes. Someone's being all cutesy pie. I don't know where these things that I say come from. I have no idea. I sound like a jackass. But you get what I'm saying. So some of you may be spot on with your interpretation that something's going wrong. I'm not happy with it. Someone's deceiving. And it's triggering an insecurity that you may be having. Maybe for some people when they're cheating, it's because they're feeling insecure. And that's what it's got to do with. Shaman and seer are like the male and female versions of one and the same. They're both intuitive people. They both understand things. They have good senses of intuition. They're psychic. They receive a lot of spiritual downloads. They know what's going on. They kind of get that sense in their gut, what's happening. So whatever this attempt at deception and so on, somebody's seeing clearly in that moonlight. There may be a lot of deception going on, but someone's seeing clearly. And it's freaking you out. Or it's freaking someone out. It could be that some of those people are insecure about being caught. Like, when we look at these two cards here, the deer, the fox is looking over his shoulder. Maybe because he's feeling insecure about getting caught. Okay, I don't want to pull that up just yet. We've looked at that card already. This is about burden. 10 of Wands is burden and responsibility. It's about plugging on in spite of everything. Plug it on in spite of everything. You're feeling exploited. You're feeling like people are taking advantage of your kindness. You're not feeling like you're in a strong position. This card here just floated over because I keep eyeballing the one beneath it, which is the Death card, which is about letting go of something to make room for something new. It's about clearing the weeds out of your garden so that there's room for the plants you actually want to grow there to have room to grow there. That's a scary thing for many, many people. But the fact is, you can't have a monogamous mind frame and be with a cheater and think you're going to be happy. You're just not. There are monogamous people, there are polygamous people, or polyamorous people. It's just, if you insist on monogamy in your relationship, there's no way you're going to be happy with a cheater. And the reverse is true, right? A cheater would never be happy with somebody who insists on monogamy. They have fundamentally different values in that relationship. Now, this card to the right here is Justice. The seer, the shaman, this is you. I really feel like for most of you that are resonating with this reading, this is you and you know what's going on already. You know what time it is. And there's a sense of justice here. Meaning you're going to do the right thing. You know what's going on, and you will do the right thing with that. You will do the right thing. When I look at these cards, these are in the future. There's this jealousy sense, but there's also a sense of responsibility and a sense of justice in that You don't like the pain. It's creating undue burden and responsibility for you, but you still have to carry on. You still have to pay bills. You still have to go to your job. You still have to take care of kids if you have any. But you know what it is. You don't want to be exploited in this way because you're just working too darn hard for people to be playing around behind you. And this Justice card does indicate right thinking, right mind, but it also indicates that you'll do the right thing. You will do what you need to do to unburden yourself of this unfair situation. Trust in your higher self, your wiser mind. No hasty decisions. Plan things out logically. If you need to process your experience, for some of you, the seer and the shaman could recommend, going to a counselor to discuss what you're feeling. Receive some validation that it's not unreasonable to expect that the people in your life are going to experience or be fidelity to you. That's not the right way to put that, but that you want fidelity in your relationships with other people and that you don't need to settle for less. You are enough. You're good enough. And there's no reason that you can't expect that from others. So I'm shuffling a supportive card here. I want to look at one last card that might help us with clarity, with understanding. These cards are the Animal Wise Tarot by Ted Andrews. And if Spirit would help us, help our Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign friends, anyone who's going through this very uncomfortable situation, and through some of the frustration and the anger and the heartache and the feelings that can come up from this kind of situation. Not to mention, if we live with people, it becomes a financial arrangement. That's stressful as hell. But if they would provide clarity, wisdom, guidance, healing, love, by providing us a picture of a totem animal and some lessons that we can relate to as we're trying to parse through this information and see what it is that we need to do, what might be our best choices and ways of response. This is interesting. I pulled this card for another one. I cut to it. It's not in this other reading I did, but it's coming out for two different people. That's so interesting. Of course, their reading was quite different from yours, but the lesson, this is the King of Four-Leggeds, the gorilla, and the lesson is strength, nobility, and generosity. What a wonderful thing. I'm going to read the reversed for this one, too. I didn't in the last reading I did. The powerful gorilla is the largest of the apes, with broad chests, a muscular neck, and strong hands and feet. Though often described as savage beasts, gorillas are very peaceful and gentle creatures of great nobility, frequently demonstrated by their behaviors towards each other within their community. Although chimpanzees are often recognized as the most intelligent members of the ape family, gorillas are at least as intelligent. When gorilla appears, it heralds the awakening of a more primal strength and recognition of our innate nobility. Gorillas are reminders of the nobility of living a life true to our highest capabilities. They live in groups called troops, and they care for each other, demonstrating almost as wide a range of emotions as humans do. They demonstrate affection, mourn, protect, and care for each other. All noble qualities humans do not always express as well. When gorilla appears, it is confirmation that our industry, our endeavors, is solid and steady. They walk upon all fours, and adults seldom climb trees, suggesting the most spiritual act is staying grounded and handling our responsibilities. Gorilla can also indicate the appearance of someone, usually a man, who, not always though, who is humble but gifted and who will help us in our own endeavors. This individual is usually someone who has achieved a certain status and position, but is not overcome by his position in life. When gorilla appears, it is a reminder that our own strengths, our inner strength and nobility, are about to be recognized. The idea of nice guys finish last does not hold true here. Gorilla reminds us of the nobility of proper living for one's family and community, and indicates we are about to be recognized and honored for it. I was thinking too here of the Ten of Wands and the responsibility. And there was this kind of sense that in spite of what's going on, you still intend to take care of your business and do what you need to do in a way that is fair for not getting other people caught up in the drama of it all, but doing what you need to do to take care of your business in a way that is fair and the most quick, positive result for everyone involved. In the reversed, this card can indicate the following. The gorilla has no natural enemy in the wild. Leopards may take young gorillas if they can, but gorillas watch over each other's young. If gorilla is reversed, it can be a sign that we are being careless and not watching over our activities as carefully as we should be. Gorilla territories often overlap, but when troops meet, rarely is any aggression shown. If gorilla's reverse, though, we or someone around us may be too materialistic and too territorial. A threat is being perceived where there is none. Troubles and complications will result from this. Within the gorilla troop, each led by an old male, there are dominant roles. If gorilla is reversed, there are problems. If gorilla is reversed, there are problems in leadership around us. It may have to do with our own leadership or the leadership of someone else in some area of our life. Perhaps someone who is trying to take charge who is unqualified or who is abusing the position of authority. Questions to ask. Are we being overly aggressive? Are we trying to assert an authority we do not have? Is someone else? Are we fulfilling our responsibility to the family or community? Are we looking out only for our own needs? Are we being selfish and bullying? Interesting reading. And again, it speaks to the fact that some people may be experiencing insecurity based on their own personal past or some other types of issues. It may not be that someone's in fact stepping out. For others of you, it could be that they are, but looking more deeply into your situation, finding more information out for yourself before making any action could be the wisest thing on that. I mean, for the most part, it does seem to be that there's some very positive influence in here, that right will prevail. Right will prevail. And that's something to be reminded of in our justice card. Part of justice is understanding and recognizing that when we do come to the right decision about something, that there's taking the higher road. Like two wrongs never make a right. Right? Two wrongs never make a right.